Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
We're out in the greenhouse today because we had a frost in here last night. Thanksgiving night. Well, the whole objective that I had this year was to, once we passed the big freeze earlier this year, was to see if we could have enough tomatoes off for a caprese salad on Thanksgiving Day.
And we did. We had it for lunch, actually.
It was awesome.
Yeah, because we did the turkey, because we do a monster-sized turkey. We do the turkey for dinner, or kind of a dinner thing, halfway in between lunch and dinner. So we did a moderately early lunch that included tomatoes from the garden here, the inside garden.
What we're going to do is I'm going to try getting a few cuttings off of these tomato plants so I can root them. I'm not sure whether or not we'll be able to keep them growing or anything else, but we're going to give it a shot. It'll be yet another experiment for us here on the homestead.
Right. I had mentioned it earlier, and I think Henry had too, that we were going to try getting them started out here instead of trying to grow them in the kitchen, because although we know we can do it in the kitchen, it becomes a real pain in the rear end. Our kitchen is used as a real functional kitchen a lot. So having a sort of a greenhouse growing on the counter gets to be more than a little annoying. Considering I know we got down to at least 31 in here last night. It's hard to know exactly what the temperature was because, you know, the thermometer is only in one spot, and you'll get different puddles of temperature around the place. The only plant that really showed damage, there is a little damage down here. The tips on a bunch of the Amanda orange are dead. And there was one basil plant down here that just really got cooked. It looks very, bleh, it looks like it's gone to mud. We still have basil in the house. It was just sort of a random experiment to see if we could keep it going or not. And I think we've hit that wall. So, and we accept that. I mean, we've been waiting. It's almost December, and we can't afford electric heat in here. We can only afford so much propane heat too.
Propane is really ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's now well over $3 a gallon. Yes, we have a 20-gallon tank outside, but I don't want to start running that tank to try to keep things in here warm because we know it's going to be much colder later on this year.
Our goal was just to sort of moderate the temperature long enough to keep this going for a while. The cucumbers actually look fine. I think it's mostly the stuff at this end of the greenhouse, which makes sense, the heater's down here, that kind of got damaged last night. The stuff that's down here, including some stuff that's fairly tender, is fine. The tomatoes that were outside in the garden ripened. Anything that was under a slight bit of the cover of the plants ripened. So we're going to start.
Okay, I'm going to see what I can get off for big beef cuttings and
make sure that you actually watch the labels on these, because not everything in the middle there is big beef.
And I'm going to get some from Grenadero. In fact, maybe I'll focus mostly on Grenadero. The Grenadero looks pretty good.
Be careful of what you're cutting. The leaves are the branches are wrapped around one another.
Yes, I'm definitely on a Grenadero.
Okay, I have little doodads with water in them. The only jars I could find were canning jars.
I'll go ahead and cut these, and you can check them to make sure that the grow tips are fine.
Just goes to show you all the flowers that I'm taking off of it. That seems like a crime, but anyway.
We may be able to get a couple off of that one. Okay, that should make 3 cuttings for Grenadero at this point. Well, this Grenadero stem is pretty tough.
Some of the tomatoes that I harvested from the garden that ripened in the garden after the plants were mostly dead were granaderos.
Big beef. Big beef is going to be the one that is going to be difficult because I think it's a more tender plant in comparison to the granadero.
Okay, I've got several as good as any Gardener's Delight here.
Okay, and I have 2 branches here.
If we don't get any freeze in here for a few days, we may get some of the stuff coming back too.
A lot of these come back from the base, ironically enough. Oh, no, you know, we have a nice one down here that's at the base, as a matter of fact. If you can get that one.
Yeah. I knew that there was some stuff underneath here that looked like it was not too badly zapped. This morning I looked at it, I could tell by the black of the leaves that most things were gone. Okay, I have the heat mat on.
Shall we put more water in the bottom of the tray?
I was debating that actually,
I think we should. It'll be more thermal mass.
because I always made sure when I was keeping seedlings out here that there was always a good flood in the trays. For exactly that reason, you get that thermal mass.
Do you want to put the other plastic on it tonight?
I actually think this will be fine.
Okay.
The heater is set for, it's like 70, and it'll be a constant source of heat. So if it was going to get down, I don't think it's supposed to get down in the 20s tonight. I'll check again. You can never tell. Oh, now they're saying it's going to get down to 26. I guess I'll put that other cover on there.
I have... Your butt rang.
Yeah, it did. Doesn't come through on here, so it's something else.
I have radishes. I like this variety. The center of the radish is very delicious. It's crunchy. It's not particularly hot. The skin sometimes gets pretty warm. Gets kind of spicy. We have lots going on in here. We still have cucumbers growing up on our purlins. We have the spools just like we have for the tomatoes that Irene trained the cucumbers up on. We still have Gardener's Delight tomatoes up here. They're far from ripe, but we'll see what happens. They seem to be surviving okay.
They're ripening. There were no ripe tomatoes out here the other day, and I can spot 2 or 3 right now. So they're ripening really fast at this time of year. And in fact, some of those tomatoes that we had for the Thanksgiving salad were Gardener's Delight.
And they came out of here because we have none outside.
Oh no, everything's frozen outside now. Yeah, because it was 24 last night.
It was cold.
Yeah.
That was in the north yard, which ironically enough is warmer than the south yard.
Yeah, well, the north yard is protected by the house, and so it's surrounded.
Are we still getting anything off on our husk cherries?
Not every day. I think this one here is ripe. I can see several hit the ground today, which means they're ripe. But I always check them because once in a while they'll drop when they're not completely ripe. So you just look at the color and you can tell.
You know, the funny thing is we still have sweet potato slips growing just fine under this potting bench. It did not get hit by the frost last night here in the greenhouse.
Yeah, that's off that one plant there. So let's see if it's the right color. Oh, that's ripe.
Get one for yourself.
There it is. Oh, that's good.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. This one over here is doing very consistent, pretty large harvest. So here we are, almost December, eating fresh fruit out of the greenhouse. Not bad.
Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because we have a whole lot more going on.
Yep, and a whole gigantic pile of brassicas. We ate our first broccoli of the season
For Thanksgiving.
for Thanksgiving. Wasn't a lot, but gosh, it was good. And we have a bunch of other ones that are going to be coming off in the next week. Just a small mini broccolis, but the side shoots are already coming out on the first one that I harvested the other day, so heaven knows.
Do you know what time it is?
Yeah, we have some stuff to do. So until next time, bye.
Bye.